It's time for the Hockey Writers Grindline, a weekly show covering everything Detroit Red Wings. Brought to you by our own iconic top line of Wings writers. Sit back and enjoy The Grind.
Welcome to the Hockey Writers Grindline, brought to you by the Morning Skate, the Hockey Writers morning newsletter that is jam-packed with the best hockey stuff on the planet. Sign up today at morningskate.io for free delivery to your inbox Monday through Friday. Also, drop us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay on all of the best Hockey Writers content. I'm your host, Kyle Knopp, and today I'm joined by Devin Little, Delaney Reimer, and Logan Horn. Welcome to another edition. Devin, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing excellent. Delaney, how are you?
Peachy keen, doing just fine.
Excellent. You got to witness Elmer Soderblom's very first goal in the NHL 2 weeks ago, so that's very cool. And Logan, how are you this afternoon out west?
I'm doing well. The temperature, it's like winter's finally starting to hit. It's dropped like, well, I guess not. You guys don't know Celsius. 20 degrees? I don't know. What is that? What is that? 45 degrees? It's dropped in the last 2 days.
That's a lot.
Very
That's
warm a couple days ago. It is 0
All
today.
right.
So
Wow.
32. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of sounds like Michigan.
That one I know.
Yeah, back to the 60s over here.
Nice.
Well, so out here in Maryland, where do I live again? It was 35 degrees this morning with frost on the ground, and then by the time noon hit, it was 65 degrees and sunny and beautiful. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's our falls out here. So
Yeah.
all right, well, welcome to another grind. Let's jump right into it. We're gonna get into our favorite segment here, our one good, one bad from the week. And Logan, I'm coming to you first.
All right. My good is that Sebastian Cossa is getting meaningful minutes, playing against grown men. He's not in the WHL where success, you kind of discount it, and failure is actually like terrifying. It's like kind of like real competition for him now, which is cool. Won his first ECHL start, got called back up to Grand Rapids Griffins. Won his first start there opposite Yaroslav Askarov, who's the top goaltending prospect for the Nashville Predators, which is pretty cool. If you're a fan of small sample sizes, take a look at Jesper Wallstedt's statistics in his first game compared to Kossa's. It's not much different, but Cossa looks slightly better in one game. So that's my positive. That's exciting. And my bad. Honestly, the vibes around the Red Wings are so good, I couldn't come up with a bad for the Red Wings, and so I'm just going to take this as another opportunity to roast producer Matt. The Vancouver Canucks set several terrible records this week. After 3 games, they became the first team to ever start their season 0-3 after having multi-goal leads in every game, and then after their 4th game, they became the first team to ever lose 4 in a row after having multi-goal leads at any point in any season in NHL history. Like, that's never happened before. And I'm very sorry, Matt. It's very painful. I have friends and family that are fans, and I trust us. Red Wings fans know the pain. But yeah, that's a bad for sure.
Are you still home there with us? Because I can't tell if we got cut off or not. So
Yeah.
All right. I hope you can still hear us at home. If not, maybe Logan just got dropped off there. So I don't think Matt's gonna.
I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
My
Matt is
last
revoking your stall there, Logan. Gonna come into the locker room next week, and your nameplate is gone. All right, Delaney, one good, one bad from this past week.
Oh boy, one good. Red Wings had a good loss. I know that's a sad one good, but holy crap, it is so much different to watch them lose and fight all the way until the very end and just lose kind of in a genuine stroke of bad luck instead of like an actual terrible effort. So that's a good. Even though it was a loss, it's a good, because if you can leave a loss having anything good to say about it, I'd count it as a good. And then bad. they lost a game. They had that perfect streak for a little bit, not anymore, but it was bound to happen eventually. And at least they did it in a way that we can be happy with almost. So that's my good and bad.
Absolutely. Love
Which are the same thing. My good and my bad are the same thing.
I love it. All right, Devin, over to you. One good, one bad from this week.
I'm going to start with two goods. One, it's got to be Dylan Larkin's effort in that game against the LA Kings.
I knew you
haven't seen it by now. I don't know what to tell you. Go
save
find it
of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to end up being Dylan Larkin, not a goalie. I don't care. Crazy. You love to see that from the captain, right? You love to see that from the captain. And then the other good I have, Delaney, obviously, like you said, got to see Elmer Soderblom's debut with the Red Wings. I got to see Simon Edmondson's debut with the Griffins, as well as Sebastian Cosa's debut with the Griffins. And they both looked really good in their debuts. Edmondson got a point in his game, and he looked like he was one of the best players on the ice that night.
Yep.
And Cosa, like Logan said, he won his first start. That's all you can ask for. And I secured tickets to a December 7th game against the Iowa Wild. Ooh. So hopefully I get to see Wallstead versus Cosa. I'm excited about that.
That's pretty cool.
And then my one bad, despite the fact that the Red Wings got 5 out of 6 points out of the first 3 games, if you look at their analytics, it's actually not that flattering. Their first game, they absolutely caved Montreal in. I think you could see that. You don't really need to look at the numbers to know that. But then against the Devils and the LA Kings, they were chasing it a little bit. They had a team overall Corsi, so a share of scoring chances of 44.8% right now, and an expected goals for percentage of 43.5. So they're not expected to be doing as well as they are doing. And I think that's a positive, is that despite their bad numbers through 3 games, they got 5 out of 6 points. So they have room to get better, and they're already looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive when you can not control a game, but yet still control the outcome, because they pretty much controlled the outcome in New Jersey, and then against LA, even though they were chasing, they still controlled a lot of the play, and then were able to fight back to force that overtime. So that's going to be my good as well this week. The Wings getting a point in every game that they've played so far. That's huge to start the season. Maybe not the best competition in the NHL at the moment, but still they're proving that they can win games when they need to, and that they can stay in games when they need to as well, and fight against a good LA team that was in the playoffs last year. So can't really count them out. Have a second good that's hockey related, but not Red Wing related. This morning, Friday morning, we record on Friday evenings. Got the pleasure to coach John Carlson's son after he flew back from Ottawa and still made it to a 6 a.m. Ice time with his 7-year-old son, Luca, this morning. So that was pretty cool to see him being, on daddy duty, which was awesome. And then my bad, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit later, but Jakub Vrana is not going to get a full season with the Red Wings yet again. So hopefully, our thoughts and our condolences out to him. We hope he's doing all right in whatever struggle he's going through right now in the player assistance program. Hope he gets the help he needs, but it is a bummer to see him not make another full season with the Wings. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about the week that was and get our early thoughts and standouts. So Delaney, I think I hear a big old train a coming. What were your early thoughts and standouts from this past week?
Well, sounding like a broken record once again in the best way possible. Elmer Soderblom. Holy crap. He is doing the dang thing. He is looking like he belongs in the National Hockey League and getting everyone talking about him, even people who aren't Wings fans. You got the Redwoods line, or whatever it is we're calling it, tallest, biggest line in NHL history, which is absolutely bonkers to look at. You would think that line might just be there to kind of push things around and kind of lay down physicality due to how big it is, but the fact they're producing anything nonetheless consistently and having so much offensive upside, is huge. So that's a big standout for me, all three of them. And then both goalies, they're doing great. You got to give it to them. Ned, his first game in, that first goal was a little icky. Everyone was kind of, oh, you got to save those. And then he came out and stood on his head, did his thing for the rest of the game, and absolutely made us realize why we love him at the end of the day. So gotta go with that big line, the Redwoods, and then the goalies. Those would be my early standouts. And then everyone looks good though, for the most part. So it's good that we have to think on what players are standouts because everyone's had their moment.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, every player so far is showing up. And I think, to jump in here, that's one of my biggest standouts in early takeaways is we talked about all these new guys needing to come in and contribute right away, or some of these guys that are having make or break seasons needing to contribute, and they're all showing up. I mean, Oscar Sundqvist and Ali Maatta have 4 points each. David Perron with 4 points, Kubalik with 3, Knopp with 2. They're just really showing up and playing. Michael Rasmussen, who we said needed to have a big year, is starting the season at a point per game pace. So those are really big standouts for me because those are the guys that we were hoping would be able to catch on and make some noise pretty early, and it looks like they absolutely are. All right, Devin, over to you. I'm sure you have a bevy of thoughts and standouts from this past week. So let's hear who's been at the top of your mind.
Well, I got two things I'm going to focus on here. One, you guys are absolutely right. Everybody's kind of doing their part and chipping in. You got guys at a point per game pace early on. You got guys making plays like what Larkin did. Almost everybody's kind of had their moment, at least through their first 3 games. Almost everybody. And what's impressive about that to me is that Mo Seider and Lucas Raymond aren't like leading the way like we maybe would have thought. Now, mind you, I don't think they've been bad. I don't think that they're like, holding back the team anyway, but they aren't like, they didn't get off to a roaring start. Neither of them have. And so for the Red Wings to be doing as well as they are without those guys like leading the way, I think that's exciting because you got to think they're gonna get going here probably within the next game or two because especially Seider, I'm not really worried about him at all. I think with Bertuzzi being out and the lineups kind of being shuffled around right now, I wonder about Raymond getting some chemistry going, but he'll figure it out. He's too damn good not to. But the other takeaway that I have is the Red Wings penalty kill and how aggressive and how effective it is. And that's a big tip of the cap to Derek Lalonde and Bob Bugner. Bugner, for his part, when he was the head coach of the Sharks over the past few seasons, that's been a team that has been in the lottery, just like the Red Wings, but they consistently had a top 10 penalty kill while he was their head coach. So it's good to see that he's brought that over to Detroit. I've been really impressed with how it seems like every single penalty kill, they get one offensive chance, and that's just based on aggression and being able to quickly get the puck going the other direction. I think that as long as that is sustainable and they can continue to do that while playing within their structure, there's going to be quite a few shorthanded goals this season. It's going to be, you can't stay in your seat during a penalty kill because you never know when a breakaway is going to happen. And that's exciting. That is the complete opposite of what this penalty kill has been over the past 5 years or so. So penalty kills impressed me a lot. Really hope to see it continue. And then just how effective and impressive the team has been, despite the fact that their 2 young stars haven't exactly been leading the way. So yeah, I think this team is in good shape going forward.
Fantastic call outs there, Devin. You're absolutely right. This team is in a great shape because they're getting production from everyone and the guys they need to. And so the guys that they are expected to get production from, Seider and Raymond, like this slow start's not a big deal. And it's not going to put the extra pressure on them to have to perform because everyone else is picking up slack and they can still just continue to play their game. So again, great call out there, Dev. All right, Logan, over to you. Early thoughts, standouts from this past week, first 3 games of the season.
Yeah, so I'm going to give the Red Wings a compliment sandwich a positive and then a negative and then a positive. So
Best way to do it.
First positive. Turns out having 2 goalies that you trust instead of just one is actually pretty nice. Like they started with a back-to-back. That's awful to start your season because you're just setting yourself up for a loss in at least one of those games. And there has been no Red Wings backup for ages that I would have trusted to win that game against the Devils the way that Nedeljkovic did.
Yep.
That was huge. So having these 2 guys, keeping their starts balanced, so they're both fresh. Husso's never done the big starter 50-plus games. Ned clearly wasn't quite ready for that last year, at least not with the defense in front of him. So just giving them that space and that time, they can balance each other out. It's awesome. That's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that. My negative is not something I'm worried about, but just something I wanted to point out that Andrew Knopp has been a little rough, a little rusty coming off of his recovery and his surgery this summer. I was looking it up, and when he's been on the ice, the Red Wings have been outshot 30-9, which is bad when he's someone that they're hoping to be like a true defense guy. I'm not worried. Doesn't seem like a long-term issue to me. It just seems like a conditioning thing. He's got to get back up to speed. Didn't have as much time to train in the summer as everyone else in the league. So not worried. It's just something that has stood out to me. And then my last one is David Perron. I think Yzerman might have just like purchased a first-round pick and a prospect when he got Perron in free agency, because he's looked great. His contract is great. And it's going to be like the easiest player to deal at the deadline this year or next. Like, no problem. Like, they probably won't trade him this year unless someone like really overpays. Yeah. Unless like, I don't know, who would it be? Like Vegas gets really excited and they're like, do you want 3 first-round picks? Then maybe they'll do that. But I think they'll probably hold on to him until next year because he looks great. He's still got it. He's a great playmaker, but he's been showing off the goal scoring too. So those are my standouts, only after 3 games. But
as much as I would love to see him get flipped this year because of how deep the draft is this season, or in 2023, I should say, I still think another year with him wearing a letter and being up with this team would go a very long way. But at the same time, if we could get that 2023, even a 2nd round pick, that's almost like another 1st round pick in pretty much any other draft. So it might be a late 1st round pick, but it's still a pretty darn good pick. All right. Well, I'm sure this is the topic everyone is tuning in to get our thoughts on. So, Devin, I'm starting with you. On Thursday, the NHL and Adidas released the reverse retro 2.0 jerseys for all 32 teams. Now, we're not going to get into all 32. You can touch on a couple of the ones you like if you want to. The ones that really hit it out of the park and you think the Red Wings should have taken their inspiration from. But instead, we are going to focus on the winged wheelless jersey of the Detroit Red Wings. All right. So, Devin, over to you. Your reverse retro 2.02 thoughts.
I know I'm in the minority on this. I know it, but I do like it. And I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons. One, let's look at this program, this reverse retro program, this initiative, whatever, as what it is, right? It's not a new alternate jersey. The Red Wings are probably never going to wear this jersey again after this season. It's a specialty jersey they're going to wear 6 times this season. And it's basically made to sell. That is what the point of this is. It's a novelty item. When you look at it from that, it's not part of their brand going forward. I think it works. And the reason why is because it's unlike anything else they've had in their brand to this point. The main thing, of course, is the black. And I think that's the sticking point. Whether or not you believe black belongs on a Red Wings jersey, I think that's kind of where you're at with this. And I think it works in this jersey. I think that the jersey works as a jersey. There's that picture of Larkin wearing it where he's got the C patch. I think that looks good. I think with the gloves and the shorts, I think it looks good. I think when we see it on the ice, I think it's going to change some minds. And I also think that just from like a fashion sense, I think that like I feel like if I got that jersey, I would look good wearing it. And that's not me trying to be conceited. I think the
But
thing
you look
looks
good
good.
wearing anything.
Yeah. Well, oh, stop it. But no, like
What?
there's some of these. There's
No,
some of
I
these
get
other.
I get what you mean. Absolutely get what you mean. Like you could use it as a fashion accessory almost because
Yeah.
it looks
It's
like an
not-
old school sweater.
Yeah, like and so you can't say that about every single one of these jerseys. I think you could
Right,
say that
right.
about Detroit's.
Absolutely.
And then the other just kind of other aspect of it too is that it's just this program, every team has kind of dealt with reverse retro differently. Some of them have used it to sort of like Calgary tested Blasty to see if they could bring it back. And now, of course, they brought it back. And other teams, they've just done like the craziest things. Like Tampa Bay's has lightning on it and it has the rain. They brought that jersey back.
Yeah.
It's just supposed to be fun. They're not trying to make a new classic jersey. It's just supposed to be fun. And I think this jersey screams fun. This jersey screams reverse. It screams retro. It captures the theme way better than that first one ever did. I think this will sell way more than the other one did. And I think that it just kind of it like I said, it's a fun jersey, and that's all it needed to be. They didn't need to make it what the fans wanted, because if they gave us what the fans wanted, this whole conversation would go, do you like it, Logan? Yes. Do you like it, Delaney? Yes. Do you like it, Devin? Yes. All right, next topic. But instead, I can tell you right now, this panel's split, and that makes this a lot more fun to talk about.
Good point, Devin. I mean, the whole point of this, like you said, is to sell jerseys, drive discussion, and just give teams something fresh to talk about, right? It's a good way for Adidas. I believe this is Adidas' final year as the jersey maker too, isn't it? Or one more year? One more year. So I mean, like, and they said in their release, it takes about 18 months to 24 months to come up with a new design. So this is going to be the last reverse retro design coming out until Adidas can get another NHL contract. So enjoy it. These jerseys are not going to be worn, like you said. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It does open the door for a lot of discussion, which is why we're talking about it. So Logan, over to you. What are your thoughts on Reverse Retro 2.0 for the Detroit Red Wings?
Sure. Well, when we talked about this a month or so ago, a few weeks back, I said that I want them to be ugly, because that's really funny to me. And I like ugly jerseys a lot more than boring jerseys. Like I've got a soft spot in my heart for ugly jerseys. We were talking before the show about terrible yellow jerseys, and something about that just hits their spot for me. Like bad Predators jerseys, the yellow flying V for the Canucks. So with that in mind, I'm happy, which is to say I think they're kind of ugly. I'm on board with it. I don't know. I think people got a little too were too polarized by the initial images of it from a video of random people wearing them like over hoodies instead of hockey gear, and seeing what the whole kit looks like. In that picture with Larkin, like the red shorts with a black stripe down like vertically, and I assume pretty much all red gear. That's kind of sick. I like that a lot. I think it's a pretty cool shakeup. I don't know. I think everyone's going to slowly come around on it. That's kind of what happens with these jerseys usually, unless they're practice jerseys. But my last point I want to make is just how ridiculous this theme is, the whole gimmick, because the Reverse Retro 2.0 slogan is "History never repeats." But they're repeating the only ever gimmick they ever came up with.
You're repeating history.
Yeah. And the initial topic was to try to repeat your like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like they're trying to make it sound cooler than it is. Just come up with a second gimmick. Like they could only come up with one. But anyway, I think that's a little silly, but it's still fun.
I totally agree, because when I first saw them coming out with this and they're saying, you know, history never repeats, and like the whole purpose of the reverse retro and the definition of retro and reverse is going back and repeating and going back and repeating. And so, yeah, it was just really funny that was their slogan when the whole gimmick was to repeat. So you're absolutely right there, Logan. It's pretty funny that they really kind of screwed up their whole marketing campaign
a little bit.
All right, Delaney, I wanted to give you the last word on this because I know you have some very, very personal thoughts on this jersey. So let's hear it. I believe you even said you were the inspiration for this design about a month or two ago. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So I may or may not have quote tweeted something about the Blackhawks reverse retro when it was leaked, and I quote tweeted it and said the Detroit Cougars did it better. So naturally, I spoke this thing into existence against my own will somehow, and I have very conflicting feelings on it. I'm going to be honest. I hated it when it came out yesterday. Hated it. Was very sad for like an hour. It's growing on me. ? But see, my thing with it is it looked terrible out of context. Like just when it popped up in the video, I was like, no, what is that? But it also will be great. My friend said this yesterday. I'm not going to take credit for it. At a Christmas party, like an ugly sweater party, it'll be great for that.
Yeah.
Really
but, I do understand that it is more fashionable. I do get that. And I do see it. It can be a little more versatile with the black. And it doesn't scream sports as much as the white and red does to me. I don't know how that makes sense, but it does in my head right now. And seeing it in the full kit with the pictures they posted of Larkin yesterday, it made it click a little bit for me. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can get behind this, seeing it in action, seeing it in a hockey context and not just a streetwear context, because it can work for either if you do it right. I think I was really pushing for that cream inverse 2014 Winter Classic. I know I will never get it. I will make it myself if I ever learn how to sew.
I don't think you are the only one there, Delaney. Yeah. I think that was a big wish on Red Wings fans' list was get us, the reverse of the Winter Classic jersey or one of those jerseys in that cream would be a fun color. So
yeah, see, the black being on the jersey is a very dividing topic at the moment. And I feel like younger generations might have a more open approach to it. And it's not like, we can't do that. That is not something we can do. It's temporary. It's not permanent. It's not the end of the world. These jerseys are supposed to be experimental. And that is what I am telling myself to make myself like it, because they are, in fact, wearing it on the game that's on my 21st birthday. So I will need to see it in person.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I would like to give a shout out to the best reverse retro from this year, the Boston Bruins Pooh Bear jersey.
Yes.
Swept the competition clean, and I will be getting one. Red Wings, not sure yet.
Go ahead.
I just want to say real quickly that I found it funny that Delaney, the youngest person on this panel, was talking about how the younger generations might be more open to it.
Yes.
But she's the one on the panel saying,
I'm not going to be open to this. unless on her 21st birthday, it turns out to be very nice in person.
Depending how the day is going, I might love it.
Yeah, that's right.
But it could be worse.
I mean, you all of you bring up fantastic points and very, sound arguments in terms of why fans like or dislike this jersey. And I think a lot of it is when it comes to the Red Wings jersey, right? That is never really been tinkered with in about 100 years, or very, very small changes. And it's a classic, iconic jersey. And you have a lot of purists that don't want to see that change or are afraid that if they get away from it, that it's going to go away, right? The winged wheel is never going to go away. That is going to be around forever. Now, are they allowed to experiment with some other things? Should they have done a Pooh Bear type cougar? Absolutely. Like let them have some fun with that. Oh,
octopus.
Oh my
purple
okay.
jersey.
Yeah,
like a Pooh Bear style octopus. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Jersey concept makers out there, please tweet us some octopus themed jerseys. You can even look like this. I don't know if you see this Detroit hockey sweatshirt with the octopus. I'm already rocking it. Please get it. I will buy one of those. Absolutely. But yeah, so that's like you said, Devin, the whole point of this was not to make a fan happy jersey, because that's not going to sell jerseys as much, right? Or have this debate going throughout the season. It probably will sell more jerseys, actually, if everyone loves it. But you won't have this debate going throughout the season. It won't be on everyone's mind throughout the season when they wear them the 6 times, the 8 times as some other teams are wearing them. So yeah, there's always going to be a talking point. And if these are like some of the other jerseys from 2 years ago, they do usually look better on the ice unless they are Dallas or the Red Wings practice jerseys.
Yeah. I give it full marks just because it's better than that one. Like it's low bar to clear, but they did clear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they jumped over that single toothpick on the ground. They got over the hurdle.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our first rush of the day. We're starting to get a little behind on time, so we'll pick it up a little bit. But all right, max of 2 sentences here. Who is the bigger surprise at 4 points? Ali Maatta or Oscar Sundqvist? Delaney?
Ali Maatta.
Devin?
I'm going to say Maatta, but Sundqvist is surprising.
Logan?
I'm going to go with Sundqvist just because I wasn't sure he was going to be on the roster.
Good point. Good point. I'm going to go Ali Maatta, but I think Sundqvist is a very, very good surprise to be up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 2. Will David Perron lead the team in goals this season? He's got 3 in 3 games. Devin?
Nah, I still think Raymond's going to wake up and get there.
Logan?
Yeah, he's scoring 82 this year.
No, I
think it's Larkin. I think it's Larkin still.
All right, Delaney.
Top 3 for sure. Not sure what order it's going to be though.
Okay, I could see him in the top 5. I'll say top 5. All right. Well, we're going to take a little breath and reset the show here. This is the Grind Line. I am Kyle Knopp here with Devin Little, Delaney Reimer, and Logan Horn. Sorry, Logan. Every week I mess up one of your names, all right? But we're talking Red Wing hockey. Before we get back into it, this show is brought to you by the Sports Fan Side Hustle, a new digital course that teaches passionate sports fans how to make lucrative side income off of their love of the game. Get off the sidelines and into the game with a course that will teach you more than 14 different and easy to start methods that any sports fan, even ones with little to no experience in writing, podcasting, video production, collectibles, or marketing, can use to make a steady part-time or full-time income. All you need is the internet, a computer, a passion for sports, and a few hours a week. Go to sportssidehustle.com to get the absolutely free startup guide that will explain the 4 keys to unlocking this income opportunity. Again, that's sportsidehustle.com and get started today. All right, Mr. Horn. Bertuzzi and Vrana are out. Who are you looking to step up in their upcoming absence?
Okay, so far it kind of looks like Kubalik has the interim first line spot in place of Bertuzzi, which I think makes a lot of sense. He's shown skill as a finisher, especially on a top line. That's when he scored his 30 goals, like we talked about a few weeks back.
Yep. Playing
with Patrick Kane on the top line. So he's not the most dynamic or skilled player, but he can shoot. And as you saw the other night, like he can be pretty physical too, which I think is a nice addition to that line as well. Kind of help balance out Raymond a little. But I think he can handle that pretty well. The only person I can see filling that out for the rest of the time if they decide to go with someone else is Soderblom, just because he's been shockingly good in his first year in North America. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to keep him with the Redwoods. They try to keep that line together just so they can further establish chemistry. They've only played like 23 minutes at 5-on-5 together or something like that. So they need more time for sure. Also, you know, having two players with very little experience on your top line is that's a lot, but you know, they could handle it. On the second line, I really do feel like Vrana's absence. Vrana's absence is just like the biggest opportunity possible for Zadina.
Yeah.
It's just like, if that's the archetype of a player that they imagined having on their ideal second line, that's also what they hope Zadina can be someday. So this is his chance. Like, I don't know, it's feeling more and more tense, his situation and his the possibility of him making the team. There's plenty of time, of course. But I think if he can prove himself on that second line, if he can establish chemistry with Knopp and Perron, who are new, you know, before anyone else can establish chemistry with them, and they can make a solid second line, then maybe when people start coming back, he stays there. Who knows? There's a world where it happens, but those are the main guys I think you could really see stay up there. I don't think there's a lot of other people rushing up. There's a lot of third and fourth line guys. I don't see a lot of them being bumped up a few lines. But
does this open the door for Bergeron to get brought up sooner?
Ooh, no. I don't think so. It feels like they're very intentional with their assigned players to the AHL. And I think he's going to have to play his way into the NHL, not be needed to fill in a spot in the NHL. I think there's some stuff they wanted to see him develop rather than just forcing him there because he's the next best. That's just my thoughts.
All right. 50 plus points in the AHL is not good enough for the NHL, according to Logan Horn.
Never. It's terrible.
All right, Delaney, over to you. Who do you have filling in for Bertuzzi and Vrana while they are away from the team?
Pretty much exactly what Logan was saying, but I do agree that Zadina is pretty much walking on hot coals right now and has to really show what he's made of and what he is these next couple of weeks, months, however long it ends up being. And this is like, it's his time. This is we've been saying it's his moment for who knows how long now, but this is actually his moment because he has to be there and step up. He has to. He's missing two of the best players in front of him and alongside him. So he's got to step up and fill that role, because I don't remember where I saw it earlier today, but I saw one of the reporters or beat reporters for the Red Wings tweet that Lalonde is not looking to call anyone up right now and that he is happy with where the roster is. And to the Bergeron point, that is, that explains itself. This isn't the time because he still needs to earn it. He's not just getting given that spot. Like, he can't just walk into it because we're down two people, but no one can do exactly what Bertuzzi and Vrana are doing for this team.
Yeah.
And that's crystal clear. It's very obvious. It's like addressing the elephant in the room. It's going to be rough, maybe for a little bit without both of them, until they establish exactly who is stepping up and how they are stepping up, because obviously the step-ups need to happen. I don't think they're going to break up the Redwoods anytime soon necessarily, but I do think that people that would be bouncing through the middle six need to really step it up and show that they can belong in that top six and that they can play along the players like Larkin, Knopp, Perron, Oh, just made that word up as I was going. My apologies, but
It's
whew.
French. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my high school French experience really just decided to show up right there. But ooh, boy.
Yeah, no, you make a really good point, Delaney. Yeah, keeping that Redwood line together, getting them the experience together, I think that's going to do a lot more for this team moving forward. And yeah, it sounds like that there's not going to be a call up anytime soon. So and this is Zadina's time to show, this is shut up or put up or shut up type time for him right now. And we've said it, like you said, 4 months, and now it is absolutely here.
Yeah.
All right, Devin, last word on this. Who's stepping in for Bertuzzi and Vrana?
Two things real quick. One of the reasons why I don't think they're looking at Bergeron is he's day to day or week to week with a injury. He got hit with a ugly hit in game 1 for the Griffins, and he did not play in any of the 2 games afterwards. So he's just kind of not an option, but I don't know that he would be an option even if he was playing. But that just he's literally not an option right now. And then second, the big thing that kind of puts a I guess a wrench into the whole thing is Bertuzzi's absence has a timeline on it, right? We know more or less when he's gonna be back, whereas Vrana's has no timeline. And I want to make it clear, everybody, from all of us on the show, that we wish nothing but the best to Vrana, and we hope he takes his time and gets the help he needs. But in the meantime, yeah, we don't know when he's going to be back, right? And that means Zadina has this opportunity. I think Vrana's absence is Zadina's opportunity.
Yes.
And I think that Vrana could be back next week. And that means Zadina's got to explode over the next 2 games. And I don't know if 2 games is enough to explode. And then he might even be gone longer. We don't know. That's kind of the whole point here, is that we just don't know with Vrana, and until we do, we just kind of go day to day with it. I do think that the Redwood line is going to be here to stay, at least for the time being, because that line has shown well for themselves. It's become an identity line for the team. There's no need to break that up unless they absolutely have to. But I would be curious to see how Soderblom looks up there with Larkin and assumingly Raymond, because I think Soderblom is equipped to fill Bertuzzi's spot on that line. The reason why when I was talking about Seider and Raymond getting off to slow starts, and I was a little iffy about Raymond, is because right now the top 6 is Kubalik, Larkin, and Perron, and then Zadina, Knopp, and Raymond.
Yep.
And Raymond doesn't have a whole lot of time playing with Knopp and Zadina. So the ingredients are there for that second line to do well. I like that combination, but it's going to take some time to get some chemistry going. So if they can get that chemistry going, I actually think Zadina might be in for a good little streak there. Playing with Lucas Raymond helps, but it's going to come down to whether or not they can gel and how much runway they have to really get that chemistry going, basically. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But the good thing about all the depth the Red Wings added this offseason is that they do have a roster capable of winning games, despite the fact that they've lost 2 of their top 6 forwards right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's very true. And, it could be 2 games for them to find their gel. Could be 2 months for them to find the gel. We don't know for sure. So you at home, let us know in the comments who you think will be stepping up to take the place of Bertuzzi and Vrana while they are out. All right, moving along. Real quick, the Red Wings have 4 games between now and our next recording. We record on Friday evenings, including a game tonight in Chicago, home against Anaheim in New Jersey, and then in Boston next week. So what do the Red Wings need to do to be successful over the next 4 games? Delaney, coming to you real quick on this segment.
They need to keep doing what they're doing. They need to keep their momentum. They need to keep the penalty kill going strong. They have those shorthanded chances and they need to capitalize on them. Out of the next 4 games, I think their biggest challenge is going to be Boston.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. There is no debate. That team is looking very good so far this year. I've been watching them also, and they're nothing to count out. So they need to take what they've been doing against the teams that haven't posed as much of a challenge so far, or aren't as good of teams as the Bruins maybe, but they need, because they haven't had true huge challenge yet. And their first
not.
one is going to come on the road. They struggled with road games last year. So, and it's a tough atmosphere to play in over in Boston. So
absolutely,
to see them keep doing what they've been doing against lower caliber teams, that's their key to success in these next 4 games. I'm not as worried about the first 3 of them. But I know that now I said that in next recording, they're going to be like, oh, Delaney was so wrong. But anyways, just keep the momentum, keep the physicality, the aggression, and the hunger for winning. That's the biggest.
Tune in next Saturday to find out how wrong Delaney was.
I won't be here, so you guys can make fun of me at your liberty. And I just get to watch it after.
Let's play How Wrong Was Delaney.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Devin, 4 games, 2 on the road in Chicago, in Boston, 2 at home, Anaheim, and New Jersey. What do the Wings need to do to be successful between now and next week?
Yeah, a lot of what Delaney said, obviously kind of keep the good juju going, improve upon what they're doing, because like I said off the top, their numbers actually aren't that great. So they got to, spend more time in the offensive zone. That'll help them out quite a bit. I think that, especially this game against Chicago tonight, don't play down to their opponent. Everyone's expecting Chicago to be in the Bedard lottery, but they should not be taken for granted. Any team with Patrick Kane on it can still do damage. So make sure that, they don't take it easy, because they still got to earn this win. And then like Delaney said against Boston, it's kind of the other end of the spectrum. That's who they're going to be going toe-to-toe with for a playoff spot this season. If they want to make the playoffs, they got to get past Boston. So this should be, I said a few days ago when they were playing LA that was a good measuring stick game for them. Boston is probably the best measuring stick game they'll have in this first month of the season. If they don't win, you want to see them have a good loss like what they had against LA against Boston. So I think it's playing consistently. Don't play down to their opponent. Don't have their opponents play down to them because they're not playing well enough. And just kind of take it game by game and just make sure you're continuing to do what's made you successful so far, because they've been doing a lot of great things. And like I said off the top, they have room for improvement. So if they continue to make that improvement, they should be fine. But Boston's going to be a big test.
You absolutely said it there, Devin. Consistency. That is the thing I'm looking forward to the most out of this week. Logan, last word on the week ahead, real quick. What do the Red Wings need to do to be successful in their next 4 games?
I'll keep it pretty short. The first thing, I want to see Knopp get up to speed a little bit more. He had most of a week off since their last game, so hopefully he's buzzing a little bit in last night's game, I guess. And 2, I want to see, I know it's going to be hard with Vrana and Bertuzzi out, but I want to see the power play start to click a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they scored 1 power play goal in 11 chances in the first 3 games, which is 27th in the league, I think it was. And that's, very short sample size, but that's not good enough. They have the personnel to be like a top 16 when everyone's on the roster. But I just want to see Knopp get a little better. I want to see the power play look a little more dangerous.
Absolutely. I agree with both of those there, Logan. I'd also add to continue to play with the heart and soul that guys like Bertuzzi bring to this team, because without him, it's easy to kind of, fall back into a, say, timid response to some of these teams when you don't have those guys, that sandpaper. I'd like to see him not have that happen this year. All right, on to our final rush of the day. Devin, starting with you. Did the Red Wings beat the Blackhawks last night?
Yeah, they did. And Lucas Raymond probably had like 4 points.
Okay. Logan Horn, Blackhawks, they get beat by the Red Wings last night?
Yes, and Rasmussen is the game winner.
Okay. Delaney.
Yes. And it was great to see them lose on their home opener.
Okay. Well, 2 of you kind of stole my next question. So who was the player of the game last night? Logan.
Very different question.
That's true. It is a little bit different.
I haven't seen I'm assuming Ned is starting. I'm going to go with Ned.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know who's starting, honestly. Delaney, who was the player of the game last night?
I was going to say whatever goalie was starting. So we're going to go with Ned because that's what Logan said. And now Huso's going to start.
Hope Huso gets to start. Devin, who was your player of the game last night?
Lucas Raymond, because he put up 4 points.
I love it. I actually
Right.
was going to say Raymond had his first multi-goal game of the season last night,
He-
and took home first star, or at least player of the game for the Red Wings.
His first career hat trick came last season in October against the Blackhawks. So let's see it again.
Yep.
Deja vu would be good here.
That would be
Let's
good.
go.
All right. Well, if we haven't convinced you with our first plug, please sign up for the Morning Skate, the morning hockey newsletter delivered to your inbox Monday through Friday for free. Back for another season, the Morning Skate will bring you all you want to know and a lot of what you don't want to know about the new reverse retros. So make sure to sign up today. That's it for this edition of The Grind Line. From all of us here at the Hockey Writers and our team here on The Grind, we will see you next week.